The concept of giants has fascinated us for centuries, whether myth, folklore, or reality.
Because there are also mysterious tombs located throughout the island that may have been where their oversized bodies were buried.
The idea that enormous human-like creatures once walked the earth captivates the imagination.
But it seems that the giant has gone into hibernation for the winter, whether we'll see him.
Stories about giants have been passed down through generations, with many claiming to have found remains of these colossal beings.
Brushing away the mud, pulled it out, and there was this giant's head gazing back at him.
But are these stories real, or are they simply overblown myths and misconceptions? In this video, we explore 10 of the most intriguing and mysterious reports of giant skeleton discoveries from across the globe. Let's dive into the mystery of these giant beings and the places where their bones were supposedly unearthed. Colorado River, Arizona. In 1909, an explorer named G.E. Kincaid allegedly made a monumental discovery along the Colorado River. According to his account, Kincaid uncovered a network of tunnels hidden deep beneath the riverbank. Inside, he found strange artifacts, tools, weapons, and tablets, along with mummified remains of beings who were approximately 9 feet tall. The story became even more peculiar when Kincaid claimed the government had sealed off the area, preventing others from exploring further. Some theorize that this secrecy was part of a cover-up, suggesting that the government might have found something too extraordinary to reveal to the public. According to Kincaid, the site was far too significant to allow ordinary citizens access, which only added to the intrigue surrounding his discovery. Despite Kincaid's dramatic claims, no other explorers have verified his story, leaving only his word as evidence. While some researchers continue to explore this story, the supposed giant mummies and mysterious artifacts have never been seen again. The tale of the Colorado River giants has left a trail of speculation, with some believing that the truth has been deliberately concealed, waiting for a future revelation. With no further investigation from official sources, the story remains an unsolved enigma, continuing to capture the imagination of those curious about ancient civilizations and hidden histories. Lake Delivan, Wisconsin. Wisconsin has been the site of numerous reports about giant skeletons, dating back to the late 1800s. In 1891, the New York Times published an article detailing an astonishing discovery made by the Smithsonian Institute. They reported finding large skeletons buried in mounds near the ancient city of Aztalan. The most remarkable find was a skeleton that stood around 9 feet tall. However, the story didn't end there. In 1912, another report came from Lake Delivan, where at least 18 giant skeletons were said to have been unearthed. These skeletons reportedly stood even taller than the previous find, some possibly reaching over 10 feet in height. This discovery stirred the public's imagination and added to the growing belief in the existence of ancient giants. Despite the sensational nature of the findings, the reports sparked skepticism. The authenticity of the discoveries was questioned, especially since no follow-up investigations were conducted. To this day, the skeletons have never been definitively examined, and the mystery remains unsolved. Lake Delivan continues to intrigue both amateur and professional archaeologists alike, who wonder if these giant remains could offer a glimpse into an ancient civilization that has been long forgotten. The unanswered questions surrounding the discovery have only served to fuel further speculation, leaving us to wonder what secrets the area still holds beneath its surface. West Hickory, Pennsylvania. A striking discovery in 1870 near West Hickory, Pennsylvania, made headlines when the Oil City Times reported the finding of massive bones and oversized artifacts. Among the artifacts was a 9-foot-long sword and a gigantic iron helmet, items that appeared too large for any human of average size to use. The discovery suggested that the original owner might have been far taller than any known human, with estimates placing the person's height at around 18 feet. This would make the individual more than 3 times the average size of a modern human. The story captured the public's imagination, but further investigation into the find was minimal, and no other reports surfaced to verify the claims. The lack of follow-up research and the absence of the actual remains have left many to wonder if the original story was exaggerated or if something truly extraordinary was uncovered in West Hickory. Some believe that the oversized artifacts may be evidence of an ancient race of giants, while others speculate that the report could have been a fabrication designed to stir interest in the area. Either way, the mystery of the West Hickory giants continues to be one of the most curious accounts in the ongoing search for proof of giant beings. Ecuador. In 1964, the discovery of giant remains in Ecuador left the world questioning the very possibility of giants existing in ancient times. Locals discovered the bones, which were believed to belong to beings who stood more than 25 feet tall, far exceeding any human height recorded today. Father Carlos Vaca, a local priest, took custody of the bones and kept them at his home. Later, Austrian researcher Klaus Donner became involved and suggested that the remains could belong to giants. However, Donner's attempts to verify the claim through DNA testing failed, as no viable samples could be obtained from the bones. The site of the discovery, known as the Cemetery of the Giants, has fueled many theories about the existence of a race of colossal humans who once lived in the region. While there is no definitive proof, the location and size of the remains continue to intrigue researchers. Donner's research into the bones raised numerous questions, but without physical evidence to support his theories, the true nature of the Ecuadorian giants remains elusive. Some still believe the bones belong to a forgotten race, while others dismiss them as a hoax or a misidentification of prehistoric animals. The Ozarks, Missouri. The Ozarks in Missouri became the setting for an extraordinary tale in 1934 when J.D. Crane, a landowner, was leveling mounds of earth on his property near Lake of the Ozarks. During the excavation, Crane uncovered the remains of 7 skeletons buried beneath the mounds. The most remarkable find was a skeleton that stood a staggering 8 feet tall, far exceeding the average human height. Instead of notifying authorities, Crane and several others allegedly took the skeletons, placed them in a box, and buried them beneath his front porch. The story was briefly covered in the Springfield Daily News but soon faded from public view. In the years that followed, the location of Crane's house and the front porch became nearly impossible to trace. As a result, the site of this supposed giant discovery has been lost to time. Despite the lack of physical evidence, the tale has survived in local lore, sparking debates about whether giants once roamed the Ozarks. If the story is true, it would mean that giants might have once lived in the region, but until further evidence is found, the mystery remains unsolved. Catalina Island, California. Catalina Island in California has been the subject of numerous stories about giant skeletons and ancient civilizations. Between 1919 and 1930, self-taught archaeologist Ralph Glidden conducted extensive excavations on the island, claiming to have discovered nearly 4,000 skeletons and artifacts from over 800 burial sites. Among these findings, Glidden reported discovering several skeletons over 7 feet tall, with one measuring as much as 9 feet in height. According to Glidden, this was evidence of a once thriving race of giants that lived on Catalina Island and other Channel Islands. However, Glidden's career was controversial, and his findings were met with skepticism from professional archaeologists.
And frankly, all around the Channel Islands for about 150 years before that, there were these giant remains that were found, huge jaw bones, over 7-foot skeletons.
While he uncovered numerous bones and artifacts, no other experts have been able to confirm the legitimacy of his claims. Some believe that the large skeletons Glidden found were simply the remains of individuals suffering from gigantism, a condition that causes excessive growth. Despite the doubts surrounding Glidden's work, the legend of giants on Catalina Island persists. Could there have been a race of giants living on these islands, or were the bones simply misidentified? The mystery continues to intrigue those fascinated by the possibility of ancient giants in California. Now first, like always, be sure to hit the like button down below. It helps us out tremendously with the reach of this video. Thank you. San Diego, California. In 1895, an extraordinary discovery was made in San Diego, California. A mummified body was allegedly found, and reports claimed that the figure stood an astonishing 8 feet 4 inches tall. The body was initially thought to belong to a Native American giant, but upon closer examination, doubts began to surface. Experts from the Smithsonian Institution were called in to investigate, and after conducting a thorough analysis, they concluded that the mummy was a hoax. Tests revealed that the body had been artificially created, likely using gelatin, which could account for its large size. Despite the Smithsonian's findings, the story of the San Diego mummy remained one of the most fascinating reports of giant remains. The controversy surrounding the mummy has led some to question whether the original reports were exaggerated or if there was a grain of truth to the story. Was the discovery an elaborate hoax? Or could it have been a real giant that was later fabricated? While the Smithsonian's dismissal of the mummy as a hoax seems definitive, the mystery surrounding its origins continues to captivate those who are intrigued by the possibility of giants once living among us. The 38-centimeter finger, Egypt. In 1988, a bizarre discovery made its way into the world of giant lore when a 38-centimeter finger was allegedly found in Egypt. The finger was said to belong to a giant, and the discovery was made by an Egyptian farmer named Naguib, who came from a family of grave robbers. Gregor Spurry, an archaeologist, investigated the find and was shown an X-ray certificate by Naguib, confirming the authenticity of the finger. However, when Spurry attempted to follow up and locate the farmer for further details, he found that Naguib had disappeared, and the finger was gone. Despite this, the idea that a giant might have existed in ancient Egypt continues to intrigue those interested in the mystery of giants. How tall would someone have to be to have a 38-centimeter finger? The giant who once owned it would likely have been much larger than any human alive today. The mystery of the missing finger and the farmer's sudden disappearance has kept this story alive, but without any physical evidence or verifiable information, it remains just another mystery in the search for giants. Giant remains of Varna, Bulgaria. In 2015, a team of excavators in Varna, Bulgaria, uncovered a fascinating and mysterious find. While investigating an ancient fortress wall, they discovered a skeleton beneath the wall's rubble. This skeleton was notably tall and seemed much larger than the average human. The discovery sparked speculation that Varna might have once been home to giants. Varna has a rich history, with connections to ancient Greece and Rome, and its mythological history is filled with stories of giants. The discovery of the unusually tall skeleton only added fuel to the fire. Some researchers suggested that this might be proof of an ancient race of giants. Others, however, argued that the individual might have suffered from gigantism, a medical condition that causes abnormal growth. In addition to the skeleton, other artifacts, such as a 5th-century jar, were found nearby, suggesting the region had once been an important center of commerce and culture. While some believe the skeleton could be proof of giants, others remain skeptical. Regardless, the discovery remains one of the most curious findings in the debate over the existence of giants, and Varna remains a point of intrigue for those searching for evidence of these legendary beings. The Giants of Death Valley. In 1931, two men, Bruce Russell and Daniel Bovey, explored Death Valley, an area known for its mysteries and hidden secrets. During their exploration, the pair discovered a network of tunnels buried deep beneath the desert. Inside these tunnels, they encountered numerous skeletal remains of people who stood about 9 feet tall. But what truly piqued their interest was the discovery of a ritual hall, adorned with symbols that resembled those used in Masonic societies. Russell and Bovey believed the hall resembled a church, suggesting that the giants had their religious practices. The story took another strange turn when they reported that the site had been sealed off by the government, preventing further exploration. The tale of these giants hidden beneath the desert floor was shared in the San Diego Union by Howard Hill, a friend of Russell's, in 1947. However, no other explorers have ever found the site, and no other evidence of the giants has surfaced. Was this an elaborate hoax? Or did these ancient giants once inhabit Death Valley? The mystery remains unresolved, and the tale of the Giants of Death Valley continues to intrigue those who believe in the possibility of ancient, forgotten races. The mystery of giants continues to captivate our imaginations, whether these colossal beings once roamed the earth or whether their stories are simply fabrications of folklore. From ancient burial mounds in Wisconsin to hidden tunnels beneath Death Valley, these reported discoveries suggest a reality where giants might have once walked alongside us. Though many of these stories remain unverified, the intrigue surrounding them endures. Perhaps one day we will uncover the truth behind these ancient legends. Until then, the question remains, did giants ever exist, or are they merely the stuff of myths and tales?